Hello and welcome to our first tarot class here at the Healing Room. Again, I'm Patty at the Healing Room, and I'm very happy that you're here attending this. And what we're going to do is start with the major arcana. I'm trying to figure out a way to give you the course so it cuts right through everything and just gives you the meanings and helps you to thread the cards together, and is not full of theory. I will touch upon theory, but to be honest with you, I'm more interested in you learning how to do your own spreads and spreads for yourself, loved ones, clients, hopefully, if you want to get into your own business. They've helped me immensely over the years, and it's the reason that I teach other people, because when I was going through a lot and there's really nobody who could answer questions I had, and sometimes I didn't want to tell people what I was going through. Sometimes it's private and I would prefer to keep it to myself. I would often do spreads for myself, and then I started doing spreads for my loved ones, and then I branched out and started doing spreads for my friends, and through their encouragement, but it took close to 7 years for me to get out there and start doing it professionally. But it is and has been a constant discovery. And, I love the tarot. It's amazing. So let me explain quickly how I see the tarot. I think the tarot, like any other oracle, is a tool where we basically see what we've been thinking, what we've been feeling, and the words we've been saying. I'm a firm believer that what you put out comes back, and we are powerful beings with a piece of source within all of us. We are, creators constantly and always. And the tarot shows that if you stay on the exact trajectory that you're on, this is the most likely outcome. So it's really based on the law of attraction. It's not some hocus pocus, holy cow, that's how tea leaves work. That's how runes work. That's how, all the oracles, the angel cards, everything works on the idea that what you put out comes back, and you can always shift the outcome. Now, I'm not going to say always. I'm going to say there's going to be times that you have things written in your soul contract before you incarnated onto this earth, in this life, that you wanted to walk through. And those things are pretty much locked. And those are also lessons that you really wanted to learn. Those are things you wanted to master. So it's actually for the highest good for you to experience those things. So those things are, pretty unchangeable, although you can obviously moderate the severity of them, or, you have power, great, great power. And it's important that you realize that. So the major arcana, now there's basically the tarot is split into two different sections. 22 cards that are called the major arcana or the higher arcana. And then the remainder, there's 78 cards in total. And the remainder are the day-to-day cards, the things you're going through. So those include, wands, which is one of the suits, cups, which is one of the suits, pentacles, which is one of the suits, and swords, which is the other suit. It also incorporates court cards. So you'll have pages, knights, queens, and kings. So for this first lesson, what I'm going to do is teach you the major arcana. So we're going to go through the 22 cards, and I'm going to go over a brief explanation, and then we will embark upon, doing the daily, the day-to-day, the minor arcana is what they're called, okay? Again, there's tons of theory, and I'm trying to not put that in here. Sometimes I have to bite my tongue a little bit because I want to give you a lot more information than I think is necessary. There is, steeps, loaded books in libraries and, Barnes and Noble, and, there's tons of books on tarot theory, Carl Jung and how he influenced, the tarot, which is kind of that's what I believe. That's my framework, okay? The major arcana, which are the first 22, I feel are 22 archetypes, in other words, sides that we all have, and some that we are more experienced with than others. I think they also exemplify lessons in order to master that particular energy. Okay, so with no further ado, let's start out with the first card. And the first card is going to be the Fool. Now, the Fool is 0. Okay, and let me see, where is the best way for me to, so I don't get a glare. There it is, the Fool. So the Fool is originality, trusting the universe, taking a chance, audacity, new beginnings, opportunity to move on faith, take the risk, take a leap of faith, transition. As you can see from the card, it looks like he's just, trusts. He's ready to walk off the cliff, but he knows somebody's there to catch him. It's almost like he'll be floating, he and his trusty dog. His knapsack, his backpack, whatever that is, doesn't have much in it. He doesn't have much baggage. So he's trusting, he's fully trusting in the universe. He feels like everything's going to be taken care of. And he's not, worried or feeling guilty or feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to, I'm going to meet my demise. He's not there. So it's a card. When you get this card, it literally means the universe is on your side. The wind is at your back. Your spirit guides and angels and your higher self, of course, first and foremost, along with Almighty God, Almighty Goddess, Prime Creator, whatever you'd like to call her, is completely and utterly helping you. Okay, so this card for me, now let me make something very clear. There are many, many tarot card readers out there. I am going to teach you what I was taught from my teacher. And if you're here and you resonated to this teaching and you resonated to this course, that means that these meanings will resonate with you. Okay, so yes, the Fool means, audacious beginnings, everything is wonderful, the universe has your back, but it also means uncharted territory, uncharted new beginnings, that you will be taken care of. You're supposed to go on this journey. It's a major arcana. In other words, it's where you need to go next. Okay, it's not a minor card that's really, really changeable. It's a major card, which is one of the lessons that you chose. Okay, so the next card is the Magician. Okay, now the Magician is the card of tremendous power, skill in bringing energy down from the universe, self-motivation, express individuality with great courage, having all the tools you need for your own manifestations, and great transformation. Okay, so this is somebody completely taken care of. They are complete manifestors. Okay, all the elements are on the altar in front, so you see cups, swords, pentacles, what's the last one, and wands. Oh, I lost my mind for a minute. So this means as above so below, bringing down the power of heaven to manifest on earth. When this card comes up, it usually means like you can create. It also means great leadership. The 1 in the card, which I do bring numerology into it also. 1 is the number of that pioneering spirit, that Lewis and Clark energy, that going out and creating something, very individual. Okay, so very good card. Second card, High Priestess. Well, it's the 3rd card in the deck, but it's number 2. It's a number 2 card on the major arcana list here. It signifies duality, inner wisdom, okay, trusting your intuition and your sense of right timing, getting help from your spirit guides. Situation may not be as it appears. Make your choice with your heart, not your head. And there's hidden influences afoot. So this is obviously, all 2 cards are cards of decision. Usually somebody's going through indecision. They're not sure what to do. This means that you should trust your heart. It also symbolizes great intuition, and sometimes I'll get a spread which signifies to the querent, and the querent is another name for the questioner, that they are completely connected to spirit and that they need to trust their heart, because their heart is actually getting downloads from their higher self, which is in direct concert with source. So yes, this also means hidden influences. So to me, hidden influences is always going to be your highest level spirit guides and angels, guardian angels, higher selves, prime creator, uh, and also your subconscious, your subconscious, which kind of, you know, is going to bring forward what you know is true. Don't second guess yourself. When you get this card, your initial feeling about the situation in your heart is correct. Don't analyze it. It's not a head card, it's a heart card. Okay. Next card is the 3 card, which is the Empress. Okay. Now, Empress is all about abundance. A lot of times this card will come up if somebody's pregnant. Okay. It's fruitfulness. It's being able to magnetize things to you by just sitting there. Like, you don't have to be proactive at all. And the meaning of the card here on the sheet is fruitfulness, receiving, allowing, a birthing of new projects, which could be a child also, sensual pleasures, great abundance, promises of growth, and promises of fertility. It's a very creative card, and it's also a 3 card. 3 is the number of creativity, birthing. It also is the number of great ability to communicate. Master communicators are under the 3 energy. But yes, this card is absolutely, you've done the work, maybe because you've been the magician, and now you can just lay back and allow things to happen. Okay. So for you, if you get this card, it's an amazing card. It's, you just need to sit back and understand that things are going to come to you, and it's kind of that loving maternal energy. Next card is a 4 card, which is the Emperor. Okay, now the Emperor is all about discipline, authoritarian attitude, stability, power, structure, control. Can indicate a stubborn and unyielding individual sometimes, but it's fair and just. There's much experience here, and now this person is able to lead others. Time to put form and structure to your dreams or plans. Great leadership. This is actually, the card signifies, this is almost like the general who's already been through all the wars. And now people just come up to him to strategize. What should we do? Like, you've been through it. Can you help us? Signifies great discipline here. And understanding, since it's a 4 card, and 4 is the number of bringing things into manifestation on earth, because 4 is the number of earth. So bringing things down, foundation. Foundation will happen if you put structure and discipline into your actions. So it's time to get serious, and it's time to do, as opposed to keeping it in your head or keeping it into your heart or leaving it in the back of your mind like a dream. It's time for you to do the work. Okay, so this signifies time to do the work. If this card pops up and somebody's asking, well, give me insight into my boss, I'll be like, well, smart as a whip, but it's not going to be touchy-feely, like, not, well, I don't want to say it that way, but it's not going to be really like super compassionate. It's going to be somebody who's all biz and is amazing and has amazing results, but don't expect high levels of empathy and compassion here. Okay. Next card is a 5 card, the Hierophant. Okay. So the Hierophant signifies going to somebody who can help you with a situation which you can't navigate. So in other words, let's just say you're looking to buy a house and you've been trying to do it on your own. You're going online, you're going to Trulia, Zillow, all that stuff. And you're like, why isn't anything working? Because you need to go to somebody who knows more than you. All right, it's time for you to talk to an authority. Okay, it's a 5, which means a crossroads. Okay, and time for a change, new beginning. Okay. Now the definition here on the sheet says the Hierophant signifies somebody who could be a counselor. It could be somebody just reaching for higher knowledge, like a priest or a pope, or a rabbi. Marriage. It can signify marriage. It also signifies a crossroads, searching for spiritual meaning from a more learned teacher. But it's time to pick a new path. It also shows convention here because it is religious, a religious picture. So for me, I normally think this card is, what you've been doing up to this point is not working, and it's time for you to get some new information from somebody who has more information than you to help you with this situation. This could be a tarot card reader. This could be you. If this card crops up in a reading, it definitely could be you that they're talking about, because you actually are giving additional knowledge about an important topic that they can't navigate. Okay. Next card is 6, the Lovers. Okay, and now the official meaning of the Lovers card is love, blessed union, bringing together the yin and the yang, a balance of mind, body, and spirit, able to work through temporary confusion or upsets. You will attract what you want in business or romance if you have balance. So this card has a few different meanings. You know, the majors, obviously there's two sides to everything, but this is actually a blessed union. The archangel is over these two beings here, and as you can see, there is kind of, you know, there's a little bit of, the clouds are a little gray, and gray clouds in the tarot always mean uncertainty, indecision, dissension. Okay, and what's going on is it's a blessed union, but there are things in the way. Okay, so sometimes this means, I mean, sometimes it could mean divorce, to be honest with you. Like sometimes people are going through things and they can't figure it out. Sometimes the card will mean that the person you're with is divinely guided to you. The Lover's card, it's a major. Again, majors are lessons that you put into your soul contract to go through. And maybe your lesson was, this is my partner. And it's a good lesson. Maybe it's, you know, this person's amazing. It's not always, lessons are not always, you know, rough. Sometimes they're just things that you jotted down that you wanted to make sure you experienced. So for this card, it also signifies time to balance mind, body, and spirit. Now I'll show you how that happens. So the archangel above is actually the superconscious. The male energy in the card is the conscious, and the female is the subconscious. So a lot of times what people don't realize is relationships are a reflection of how balanced you are. Are you saying what you mean and meaning what you say? Is this what you really feel in your heart? Are you being 100% honest? So it's time for you to be honest and balanced in yourself and bring that into the relationship. And then the clouds will disappear and the blessed union will continue. And it wouldn't end by departure. So it's actually kind of letting you know the dissension that you're feeling, it's, you know, easily remedied, but it requires you to do work internally. Okay. Next card is the Chariot, which is a 7 card. 7 is always the number of 1 foot here, 1 foot in heaven. Okay. This card is a great card. It means you've raised up a level in your thoughts, in the way you look at life, your perceptions. The official meaning here on the sheet says, moving forward while able to handle life's ups and downs. A triumph. You've raised up a level. Great mental understanding and victory. It's a card of victory. It's as if he's not holding reins. He's, you know, kind of just, you know, he's standing there, but he can govern his life. Just, he's going through, he just knows he can control, you know, these two, you know, they're almost like sphinxes, and they signify dark and light because they're black and white. But he can completely navigate. He's complete control of his life because he's looking out of the correct window, and he's actually gained a great deal. It's almost like he's come to a new understanding. When you get this card, it often means, sometimes it's called just the yes card. I know there's several cards in the deck that are like, that just mean yes, you're doing everything right, you've graduated to another level, and the Chariot is one of them. And it also means you're listening to spirit, 1 foot here, 1 foot in heaven, because it's a 7 major, okay? And it means you're actually listening to the prompts or the downloads that are coming to you, okay? Next card is 8, strength, okay? The 8th, number 8 in the majors. Yeah, this glare is crazy. I don't know how to fix it for you guys. All right, so here goes. Courage. Controlling your desires. Controlling of the life force energy using laws of the universe. Action. The lower nature, which signified by the lion, is brought into harmony with the higher self. Willpower. Strength is gained over the physical. Often this card will be showing the questioner that they're stronger than they think. They actually will get through the situation they're in right now. All they have to do is hang in there, and it will actually work out for the highest good. It will have a, you know, a positive, auspicious ending on their side, but they have to endure. It's going to take a little time. Usually 8 cards mean eight, the number eight means great success, but after a number of hurdles, hurdles that were placed there to make you stronger. So this is kind of going through a time when you're, doing hurdles, but understand that you will have victory, but you must hang in there and understand that if you use the tools of, visualization, affirmation, staying grounded, staying centered, maybe meditating, using spiritual laws. You see the infinity sign over her head. Shows that if she brings down the energy of source, not only will she be able to endure this time, but I almost feel like it speeds up the process of the tough time she's going through, he or she is going through right now. Okay. The next card is the Hermit. Hermit signifies gaining great spiritual wisdom, okay? And usually means one of two things. Either it's time for you to teach others this wisdom and come down from the mountaintop, or depending on the cards that surround it, it means it's time for you to get more in touch with spirit so you can gain more wisdom and more insight into the situation. It's a 9 card. A 9 card always means, completion. And 9 is also a very spiritual number. So it means very connected to the spiritual laws, If you get this card and, you're not sure if you're on the right path and you get this card, you are on the right path. You may not hear it from your friends and neighbors. They may disagree with you, but you're actually listening to the downloads that you're getting from, your higher self, your spirit guides and angels. So trust yourself. And it's time for you to get in touch with source by meditating, praying, all the above. Next card is 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Now this card literally means brand new beginnings that, you wanted. Okay. It's actually, oh, you know what? I didn't go over let's just go over the official explanation or definition of the Hermit. Wisdom from above, solitude, inner enlightenment, guidance is available. Time to shed your wisdom onto others, the light bearer. So as we said, but I'd like to give you guys, the official definition. Okay, now we can move forward. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. So officially, this is a card of change, life change, and I'm a firm believer for the better. You'll get some readers who just say can go either way, but I don't believe that. I believe that things are always auspiciously working in your favor. Why? This is a major, which means it's part of your life lessons. And majors are written in your soul contract. So you're always expanding and getting better. So logically, you're not going to be turning the opposite way. This means that you're going to a higher level. So it might be a time of transition. It might be a little rocky, but you're always going to be happier in the end. It's always going to bring you to a higher place than you are the moment that you get the reading. Okay, the 4 corners are all the fixed signs in astrology, and they're all opening books. This is like them when they're babies, and they're learning something brand new, but it's going to be something that's going to give them so much gain, and they're very happy about it. But it is great change. Again, life change for the better, beginning of a brand new cycle. Be ready to adapt. New auspicious beginnings. Okay. Next card is an 11 card, which is Justice. Okay, I call this the karma card. So I'm a firm believer that this has a lot to do with past lives. What's happening right now with this person has something to do with an individual that's in their life now that was in their lives past. Okay, the official meaning is karmic circumstances working through to balance. Allow the situation to play out while keeping positive. An unfinished lesson from past reappears. This also can sometimes indicate a legal situation, okay? But it always signifies karma, okay? So for the Justice card, essentially your biggest thing is to, trust that you're doing exactly what you set forth to do. You said, I want to finish this lesson, and just stay positive, because sometimes it's a great card. And I'll get this card often for people who are either twin flames or soulmates in this life, and they're like, I'm not sure, like I'm going through a lot. And I'll be like, well, he's probably a soulmate. And soulmates, there's baggage from past lives. So you got to work it out. Doesn't mean it's dark and bad. It just means once you work it out, there's a huge connection. And, there's great growth for you. Okay. Next card here is the Hangman, which is a 12 card. Okay. So the Hangman signifies looking at life through a different window. Okay. Let's see if I can find a spot. I thought I found a sweet spot. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Bring it back here. All right. So Hangman, surrendering and accepting current limbo situation. Trying to see through a different window. Enlightenment through limitation. Trust your inner voice. Temporary, necessary sacrifice that you're going through. Rewards will come later for you. The Hangman is very comfortable in his yoga posture, upside down with the halo over his head. Time for acceptance. So I'll get this card often. Let's just say somebody's taking care of a sick parent. And I'll get this card because it's not an easy run. And there's great limitation. It shows that you're in a situation that's limited. Again, it's a major though, so you ask for it. There's lessons here. Lessons in acceptance and making lemonade out of lemons. Because you know what? Why not enjoy the time you have left with this loved one? Maybe there's unfinished business. Maybe you can enjoy each other. Maybe you can go to some beautiful place together. Maybe you can have a nice sit down. Maybe you can just stop and be present with this person, and get out stuff that you wanted to get out. Or maybe it's time for you to say, I love you, and because you've never said it before. But that's just an example of when this card comes up. It's usually when people are going through stuff that's, they're not going to leave their parent, under a bridge, and maybe they don't want to put them in a home. So they're like, it's hard. I have kids, and I got to take care of, my mom. And I'm like, I get it. It's so hard. But let's try to figure out where the silver lining lies, because there is one. And when you walk away from this, you will be so grateful that you had this time, and forget about the growth. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so great. Like, you'll definitely be one of those people who feels it's a great time. You gain great empathy, great compassion. You could be somebody who helps other people. So it's a trying time often, but it's so much gain. Okay. The next card is, of course, the one that's got the worst PR campaign of them all, the Death card, which actually doesn't mean anything more than transformation. But of course, they stick this in every movie because they try to scare the bejesus out of people. But it's an ominous looking card. I get it. It's, throw it into, one of the scenes. I get it. But let's talk about what the actual definition is. The situation is already over. Okay. You're stepping over the carnage now. So you're actually just physically stepping over the carnage. The situation has been done. All right. It is time for you to have the change, the physical change, transformation and regeneration. Okay. Time to let go of the past, time for rebirth and a renewal. Okay. So for you, this literally means you already know this is over. I'll get this card often for people who are at jobs that they can't stand, and they're doing it because, I got bills. I get it. But their soul's not singing, their heart's not singing. It's like, why are you doing this for paper? Like, there's 8 million jobs out there. Pick one. Just don't stay here, And this shows that they literally have already given notice or are about to. Or the universe is kind of letting them get fired. And, it's a gift. They might have a bruised ego, but, if you take 2 steps back from your life, you realize that this was the best thing that ever happened to you. Okay. All right. Next card that we have is Temperance. Okay. The Temperance card signifies balance. Okay. Either a need for balance or it means that you are balanced. It means that you come to a time when you've become very balanced. As you can see, there's water between two chalices getting poured, 1 foot on land, 1 foot in water. You've got the wings, so it's kind of like air, and like, the sun's kind of like fire. It's kind of balancing all the aspects of you. Essentially, temperance is what it sounds like. Temperance, moderation. The official meaning I have down here is moderation in all things, balance in all areas, great integration, blending high ideals with reality. Sometimes this means addictive tendencies, moderation. If somebody comes up to me and says, I'm not sure why my life is not working, and I get this card, I'll say, well, it's not balanced. Let's take a look at your life. Let's do some more little spreads and find out what's imbalanced. Are you spending too much? Are you a workaholic? Are you not working hard enough? Are you taking your job for granted? Are you, let's see, somebody who spends all their time, daydreaming and not doing what they love, and, kind of living in the clouds? And it's like, let's get ourselves grounded. Let's take the baby steps. This also can definitely mean addictive tendencies, temperance. It means, and of course, when you have an addictive personality, it consumes every minute of your every waking moment. So that's highly imbalanced. So it's a card that makes you look at your life. Okay. This card also can be surrounded by positive cards, which means that you have finally gotten everything into balance and things are actually looking up. So depending upon the cards that surround each card, they're like a big family. It's kind of like the common thread. This is how you'll know how to read cards, is by the story that is woven from the spread. Okay. All right. The next card is, again, another wonderful card that's been thrown in all sorts of movies. The Devil. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So the Devil actually means bound to earthly carnal desires, feeling chained up to an individual or to a situation. Able to walk away if you want, as chains are loosely placed over the neck. Just physically bound, indulgences, great ignorance. It's a challenge to your weaknesses, superficial bondage. Often this will signify codependence, addiction. As you can see, the people in there in the card here have, these loose chains over their neck. Everything's free. They literally can just take it off and walk away. They choose to kind of live in a heavy, dark place. So whether you're addicted to a relationship, drugs, alcohol, it could be a number of things. You get addicted to food, anything. You could be somebody who's addicted to an old love. Like this is, but it means it's time to break free and look at what reality is. You've not been in reality. You've been living in this kind of like superficial, I can't survive without, and it's nonsense. You of course can. Okay. Next card. Again, this part of the majors they're heavy cards, all right? But, they're important. We have to go through all this stuff. So the Tower, it's a card that shows if you don't make the change in your life, the universe pulls the rug out from underneath you. In other words, you've gotten hints that what you've been doing in your life is not what you should be doing, okay? And then often the universe will pull the rug out from underneath you. Now, sometimes this card will happen even if you're doing the right things, even if you've been following your prompts because you put it into your soul contract and you were like, you know what, I need a major upheaval during this time, so I'll have the guts to move abroad, or, I know that in this life I'll probably need something drastic in order for me to make this huge change, this huge shift. So stuff like this will happen, okay? Now, the official meaning that I have down here is the universe makes the changes for you. Breakdown and breakthrough, a big life change, drastic sudden change. Expect a breakup of crystallized patterns, breakdown, breakthrough. So there's two different sides to this card. Now, the card could mean major, major shifts that are not easy, okay? But they also can mean just a breakthrough. So let's just say years and years you thought a certain way, and then all of a sudden, and you know, it made your life horrible. Maybe you thought a certain way, and suddenly you think completely different, and you know, you understand why maybe one of your parents wasn't so nice, or you know, whatever. Um, and this is called breakdown, breakthrough. So it's breaking through an old crystallized pattern which governs you. So it could be something that happens in your life that's very, very physical, or it could be physical meaning like, let's just say, you know, your business shuts down, you have to declare bankruptcy, you get a divorce, like things like that. Not to say you don't have leverage in those things, you certainly do, but it's probably better to walk away than stay. That's actually a crystallized pattern that you're breaking. Um, in addition, let's just say that you've harbored anger towards one of your parents for 100 years because they were not so nice when you were growing up. Then you have a conversation with your grandmother and they say, well, you know, this is what I did to, you know, your dad. And you go, whoa, now I understand him. Like, whoa, now I can break through. Maybe it's going to take me some time to forgive, but I've just changed my view and it's been really dogged in me, really crystallized. I looked at him a certain way. And now you just said, wait, that was a huge breakthrough. Okay, so it could mean that too. Next card here is the Star card. All right. And the Star card means the official meaning. Oh my gosh, it's such a light card that it's like catching the glare like crazy. Anyway, I hope I can edit that. Anyway, clarity, honesty, feeling vulnerable with a new opportunity, although there is promised success here and great inspiration. This means that when this card comes up, it means that you literally have an opportunity that you're going to be really good at because it's in your kind of spiritual DNA to do it, but you've never done it before. It means promised success from the universe, okay? Like the universe is absolutely positively knows that you're going to succeed at this. The 8-pointed star, again, 8 is always a number of great success. And the vulnerability of the nudity in the card literally shows that this is something you've never done. But it's like the universe kind of, they injected that in you before you were born. You have the gift to make this happen. So let's just say somebody says, you know what, we'd like to make you a VP of this company. And you're like, what? Like, I've been in middle management for 100 years. And there's no way I can govern. Oh, yes, you can. Or if somebody says, you know what, you really need to start your own business because, you know, you're working for peanuts here and you know more than everybody, including your bosses. And you kind of go, and you've been thinking about it and you finally take the leap. But of course, you're feeling like this, which is vulnerable. The universe is like, yes, of course, we were waiting for you to do this. Okay, it's a great card. Next card is the Moon. All right. And the Moon, there's some people who really love this Moon card. Okay. I was taught that it has a heavier meaning, but I've had many people who are pagan or Wiccan that have come to me, and I've taught them the tarot, and they love this card, in which case this card will come up for them in a positive way because you govern your deck. And we'll talk more about that when I'm done with the majors. Okay, so the Moon. The Moon is mental unrest, confusing emotions, feeling kind of out of sorts, repressed tendencies from the unconscious or subconscious. Psychic powers are becoming apparent while you're learning to separate real world from the imagined world. Subconscious forces. Okay, so this card literally means, I see it as making mountains out of molehills, okay, and looking, you know, looking too deeply and feeling so out of sorts. It's almost like if somebody came up to you, like maybe your boyfriend said, you know what, honey, don't wear those jeans. They just don't, you know, they don't look good on you. And you took it like, oh my God, he thinks I'm so unattractive. When in fact, he really is just telling you the truth. You probably have 85 pair of jeans in there that look better, but you're like, oh my gosh, you know, he's going to leave me, or he thinks everybody else is more attractive. It's that kind of like getting at, like in your own head, like crazy. Because water will make you highly emotional, okay? As you can see, the scorpion's coming up. He's going to, you know, give somebody a little clip there. And it's time for you to, you know, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, okay? And it also has the meaning This, depending on the cards that surround it in a spread, it has the meaning of great psychic ability is now upon you. All right, you are actually rediscovering your psychic gifts. So this card can sometimes come up just for that and not mean anything heavy. It can literally just mean you are completely getting connected to source, because the moon is, emotions literally are connected to source. And so, you get a feeling, like, oh my gosh, my daughter, she got sick, she's in another state and I felt it. It was like you feel it in your gut, you feel it, and everything's in that solar plexus area. So yes, this definitely could mean just psychic abilities. Next card is the Sun. Great card. All right, number 19 reduces to a 1. Again, we will go over more in future lessons, but I just wanted to get through these majors with you because they're really important. And I also feel like at this point, I really just want to get down to bare bones for you guys so you can start doing readings for yourself and for other people, and maybe at some point get paid, it's all good. All right, so the Sun card. The official meaning that I have put together here on the sheet is joy, enthusiasm for life, liberation, new wonderful beginnings, riches, a life moving powerfully in the right direction. Good fortune is assured, a brand new bright start. I mean, you can see this baby's pumped on the white horse, which is like purity and like following spirit. Passion is signified, by the red flag. And then you have the Sun, which is like just kind of guiding the force, like you are completely, and it's a new blessed direction. Okay, so everything is actually working exactly the way it's supposed to. It's an amazing card, and it means definitely do it. Definitely do it. Sometimes this card will come up if you're about to embark on something brand new, and you're like, is it going to be successful? If you get this card, yeah, okay, you got it. Good job. All right. Next card, Judgment. Now, I love this card too, and it looks more ominous than it actually is. It actually means, as you can see, these people who are kind of coming out of their coffins, which to me signifies your soul purpose. Do you know what I mean? What's embedded within us. So here, what I put together on the paper says, waking up to your soul's desire, great renewal, spiritual awakening, a benefit for all concerned, total personality upliftment, and a great awakening. So awakening to what you're here to do on this earth. What you wrote down in your soul contract. Like, when I go down there, I am going to help other people with their health, or I'm going to write a book, or whatever. You are literally on point. If this card comes up and the person says, am I doing the right thing? Oh my gosh, you are. And you didn't even need to ask me because you feel so alive while you're doing it. Okay. Last card of the majors is the World card, which means completion, success. As you can see, the card's amazing. And the 4 fixed, as you can see, you have the 4 fixed signs, okay? So let's see, that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, are the fully grown. In the Wheel of Fortune, we saw them as babies with the book open, right? Because they were ready to embark on a brand new beginning that was blessed, okay? And not only did they learn everything, they successfully completed it. So everything they need is at their fingertips. So what I wrote down here is the World. Great success, completion of a cycle, able to harmonize earthly energy with spiritual energy, a celebration of correct use of power, completion. So this card is a great card. This means, yes, you've done it. And sometimes, I'll see this card. Sometimes it will literally mean something you've been wanting for so long, and it finally manifests. I mean, it could take years. And when I get this card and you're like, will I get this house? And I get this card, I'm like, wow, you've been wanting this for a long time. Yeah, I have. Yes, this is the yes card, because it means something coming full circle. So you've been asking, and suddenly the universe says, oh yes, it was a big thing you asked for. And this thing that you asked for was actually for your highest good, and it actually will help in every area of your life. Okay, so it's a great card. Okay, so let's see. What else am I going to tell you guys? So the biggest thing you have to understand with tarot, any oracle, whether that's angels or tarot, is the most important part of any reading is your interpretation, your individual specific interpretation of the card. So Like I said before, with the moon card, for instance, some people who've come to me who are pagan think that card is just, the cat's pajamas. So their higher self, okay, and their subconscious work in concert along with their spirit guides. And so if they have a really great message to give to someone, that card will most likely come up. So in other words, if somebody's asking, I don't know, should I move forward with this new business venture? And, they're supposed to, on a spiritual level. If that pagan turns that card over to the moon, that's a yes card for them. So what I would suggest for you to do is, after this lesson, go through all of these major cards, turn over every card. In addition to these textbook definitions that I gave you, see how you feel about that card. How did your subconscious react? Sometimes an image that I think is amazing, like the Judgment, for instance, Judgment card. It's not jarring to me, but I've turned that card over for clients and they've been like, whoa. And so if they were readers and they got that card would come up for them when they were needing to tell something that was a little heavier to a client, okay? Because their subconscious reacts in that kind of way, right? My subconscious is like, oh my gosh, that's the soul, coming out of the coffin. That's wonderful. But that's how I react to it. So I'm a firm believer that the most important definition is a definition that you assign each card. And that is how many readers just do intuitive readings. Some readers will never look at the textbook meanings, and they will just turn cards over, and they know how they feel about the symbology of that card. And that card for them always means this. They may never have opened a book. They may have just been playing with cards for years, and this is what they've come to. And that is fine. Not only is it fine, but it's a great system because it incorporates the most important aspect of the cards. Your connection, this is a telephone. I always look at, the tarot deck, the tarot decks that we have, okay, as these are like telephones. This is like a telephone, okay? And it's important that I have a connection to it. And it is the most important connection, is me, my highest level spirit guides and angels, and of course, source. This and this will govern what comes out here, okay? So if an answer is supposed to be wonderful that comes out, I'll get a card that I think is wonderful, all right? So do yourself a favor, and just for this first lesson especially, turn over cards one at a time. Do the majors. Just do the majors, the Fool to the World. Take a notebook. It's very important when you're learning tarot to have a notebook. This way you have written down in your journal what you feel about that particular card. And then you could also write notes about the cute little symbols in the card. There's so much we didn't get into, and that's okay. We're doing the basics. The basics is all you need to do readings. You don't need to go into theory and stuff. You really don't. So this is for people who really want to do readings for themselves and for others, who don't need to be, laden with the whys and what fors. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to you coming back for the future classes. And, you can always get in touch with me through Patty Boyle at the Healing Room. Or you can email me at thehealingroomcrystals@gmail.com. Or let's see. I think those are the best ways for you to get in touch with me with any specific questions you might have, just, about this lesson, okay, or about anything. All right, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again.